Hello. Welcome to Yoga for Anyone from the beginning. Whether you've never done a day of physical activity in your life or you're an Olympic athlete, if you need to start from scratch at this time with yoga, this will give you an idea of how best to do that. I have my friend Pooja here. We'll be doing this class together, and we'll just start with the foundation today, talk a little bit about what yoga is, and do a brief joint warm-up. Hey Pooja.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm so excited for this. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
This is fun.
absolutely.
Okay, so my first question for you is, there's no right or wrong answer. What do you think yoga is?
I would think that yoga is a form of meditation um, that's more active as opposed to passive sitting down meditation. And it is also a form of exercise for your body. And I know it has some spiritual aspects to it, but I haven't really explored that yet.
All great things and all true. There really is like no one definition of yoga. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to join, to yoke, to unite, some combination thereof. And one interpretation of that is this idea of a union of your individual consciousness with like a universal consciousness. And for some, that could mean like an experience of the oneness of existence, which could be considered a state of freedom, or maybe self-realization, or enlightenment, are some terms that people use. So I think like whatever resonates the most with you. So the foundation of yoga is joint warm-up. It energizes the body. It helps ensure a safe practice. I think it helps like cover the bases. Because let's say you take a yoga class, you may or may not know why it is that you're doing certain things, or you may have individual joints that need more warm up that your teacher doesn't know about. So just knowing this foundation of how to warm up every single joint will serve you going forward. Let's say that you start practicing yoga and 5 sessions in you start feeling some knee pain. If you have no method to understand this or solve it, you might think, well, I need to stop doing yoga because I don't know what's wrong. But hopefully with this warm-up, you'll kind of stay one step in advance of any issues with individual joints. It also just builds a subtle awareness, so while you're practicing, you can really check on your alignment to make sure you're not hurting yourself. And it's just a good foundation to lay if you want to practice yoga.
And you're saying that are these warm-ups that is recommended to be done before every session, before we begin the actual stretches?
So that would be something that you may learn the answer to a little bit later.
Okay.
I think you should learn the whole joint warm-up and be able to like know it well enough that you can lead it, which maybe I'll have you do in like a 4th or 5th session or whenever you feel ready. And then you might feel like this is really important for me, I need to do it every session. You might feel like I actually don't need this and I can go straight into the sun salutation. So that'll be very individual.
Okay.
But moving forwards too, like let's say you were in a studio and wanted to take a class with a teacher, you might know to yourself, well, I have learned that my elbows need a little extra warm up, or my ankles need a little extra warm up. And then you will feel empowered to get to class 5 minutes early and do whatever it is you need to do for you so that you can like be like really taking care of yourself.
Okay. Good.
So without further ado, boom, joint warm up.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. So you can start by just extending your legs out in front of you, and we'll start with our toes. So you're just going to curl your toes down and then extend them up, bend and extend. Yep, keep going at your own pace for about 10 repetitions. Next up will be a similar concept, but now it's for the ankles. So your ankles will go down to extension, and then you'll flex them back. You can go at your own pace. for about 10 repetitions.
And I assume it's common to feel some cramps here, or because I'm pulling my.
Engaging the muscles to work the ankles. I think as long as it's not painful, it's fine. Yeah.
I think it's just an indication that there is some stretching happening in my legs. Not painful.
Yeah, I do feel it, especially at this end range. I feel it like right here. This muscle's engaging, yeah. Yeah, and then you can open your legs a little bit, and you'll make circles, like you're drawing a circle with your toes. One direction, and then reverse directions when you're ready.
So is it also engaging the ankle?
Yeah, I feel it in my ankles. I feel these muscles as I go into this extension. I feel this part of my foot a little bit as well. Maybe different for you.
Yeah, I'm feeling it in my ankle and maybe a little bit on the sole here.
Yeah. Now then you can bring your legs back together. You'll bend one knee in. You can hold behind your thigh, and then you'll extend your leg and bend it. And this is a warm-up for your knee joint.
Yeah, I can definitely feel it.
You can just breathe nice and easy through your nostrils. No need to struggle. And then when you're ready, you can try to draw a circle with your foot, keeping your thigh pretty much where it is. Exactly. When you're ready, try in the reverse direction. And then lowering the leg out where it came from. Whew, that one's a little workout on the hip too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's what it's for. Well, yeah, it's for the knee and the hips as well. You can slowly start bending and extending that other leg. One thing I like about yoga compared to maybe some other disciplines is that it's expected that everyone's practice is a little different. It's really like meant to focus more on how it feels in the body rather than how you look while you're doing it, which I appreciate, having come from the sport of synchronized swimming, where everything's being evaluated by how it looks, which is very stressful. Yeah, and then we can start with those circles. Keeping the thigh pretty much stable. Just drawing a circle with that foot. Did you do any have you ever done any competitive activities?
In terms of sports, I played badminton.
Ready, reversing direction.
Yeah, I played badminton competitively in college. And I practiced hot yoga for a few months, a few years ago. And that was very calming. But not this type of yoga.
Beautiful. So next we'll take our leg, cross it over our thigh. You can hold one hand here with the foot, one hand to the knee, and you're going to lift up on the knee, and then you'll come down and you'll give it a slight push, just giving a little bit of a stretch in that hip, not too strenuous, lifting up, pushing down. If we were very flexible, our knees might go to the floor, but my hips are not that flexible. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How long have you been practicing yoga?
This is my 3rd year. Yeah, I used to think yoga was really silly.
What got you into it?
Well, I had a friend who, we can try that other leg.
Yeah.
I had a friend who really wanted to do yoga teacher training, and I really wanted to go to India because I was interested in the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. So we decided to combine forces, and we ended up at a yoga teacher training in India.
Hmm.
So it's a little unexpected, and it definitely changed the course of my life. I was really burnt out after training for the Olympics, and I actually removed the word. My joke is that I removed the word workout from my vocabulary, and I turned to yoga instead, and it's been very healing, restorative. Switching legs one more time. So we'll do a flutter, which is you just push down on your knee and let it pop back up, and you can kind of do that fast. You can do like 20 fast flutters. Like a butterfly wing. Then you can hold on to this one's a little tricky. You can hold on to the foot, and you're gonna like stir the pot with your leg. Yeah. When you're ready, reversing directions. And returning that leg where it came from. The other leg again, we'll do those flutters. And holding on to the knee and the foot, stirring the pot. What would you stir a pot of? Soup?
Probably lentil soup. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm totally.
Is it tricky? So
I
feel
felt
like you're moving from the feel like the knee
right.
is what's moving. There you go. Yeah, it's hard for the brain to switch sides, right?
Yeah, I realize that ambidextrity is definitely not easy. How would you describe yoga from your experience?
I think that yoga helps me find peace in my body. Then I can have the opportunity to try to, like, I have to clear that out of the way first to then try to pursue having peace in my mind and heart through maybe meditation or through practicing non-attachment. And that originally is what they thought, like, yoga is actually an eightfold path, and asana, which is what most people think of when they think of yoga, which is like the poses, is only one of 8 limbs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the point or the thought process behind it is for it to help prepare the body for meditation. If you're trying to sit deeply in meditation but your knee is hurting, you're very distracted, or you can't sit straight because whatever. So the thought process is to be able to sit comfortably, actually. All right, we're halfway there. Now we're moving on to the wrists. So you go ahead and lift the arms out in front of you, and we'll lift our fingertips up, and then flex them back down. Yep. This has become a really important one for me. My wrists are very sensitive now, and all of a sudden I realize that it's kind of a lot to hold your weight on your wrists, like in a push-up position. It can be a little bit intense.
And so with time, you're saying that you would start noticing which of these warm-ups is most
important for you. Yeah, exactly. And then you can cover your thumbs with your fingers and make circles. Yeah, so for me, I know that I have to take 2 to 3 minutes to warm up my wrists before I try anything. I also like to do my neck. Yeah, those are my essentials. If I go without it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I feel like my neck would be my weakest point, just because of a very sedentary lifestyle.
And use of the computer and the cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the computer. So even the wrists, I would say, it's quite important.
And then next up is the elbows. So we'll flip the hands up, bending in and extending out. I can even feel it in my upper back just sitting up straight to do this.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you're feeling any discomfort in sitting straight, because you don't seem to show anything. but I can definitely feel some.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I
sitting up
feel it
straight.
as well. Yeah, and then if you open your arms a little ways, you can make a circle, almost like the ankles. There you go, yep. And whenever you're ready, reversing direction. Also, this part of the series you can do standing up. So wrists, elbows, shoulders, etc. So it's an artist's choice. Next up is shoulder circles. So we'll hold on to our shoulders. Try to kiss your elbows in front, coming up and around. Yep. And go at your own pace for about 10 repetitions. This one's always harder than I expect.
Oh, you should touch this. Right? So when you say the eightfold path, is that what you said? What does the eightfold path lead to?
I think that's where there is debate, because there's not really one definition of yoga, but perhaps one could say an elimination of suffering, or enlightenment, liberation, self-realization.
Interesting. And this is just one part of it, as in the asanas. What is an example of another part of it?
Meditation. Yeah, practice. Yeah, and we can go over the other 7 maybe in future sessions as part of the philosophy. Okay, next up we have our neck. So you'll start by just looking over your shoulder and switching. Whenever you're ready, you can come back to the center and we'll go down and up. And go back to the center. And now we'll bring one ear to one shoulder. And the opposite.
I can feel the cracks.
Coming back to the center. And going into a gentle circle. Whenever you're ready, switching direction. Nice, right?
It felt really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a little bit lighter in my brain. But maybe you noticed something different or any changes?
No, I feel. I would think a lot of the cracks are because of some tension in your muscles, and I definitely feel they're less than before.
So that's like kind of the more formal joint warm-up. I've added a couple things that I think are really helpful, especially with our lifestyle. So if you come to all fours. One thing I like to do is a little bit more on the wrists. So if you're in tabletop with your fingers pointed forwards, you can make gentle circles, kind of adding weight to the wrists. And we'll go 4 times each direction. So whenever you're finished with 4, you can reverse direction. And then come back a little bit because you may want a little less weight for the next one. We'll go on the backs of our hands. Be gentle with this one, and same thing, 4 circles each way.
I can feel the pressure.
Yeah, be gentle with this one. The next one, the fingers will go out to the sides, palms down. Same intentions with 4 circles each direction. Yeah, like our wrist should be able to do this, right? I think.
What do you mean?
I mean, this is like ideally this would be comfortable and natural and not too straining. I know I want to be able to, you know, do a push-up when I'm older, for example.
Can you do one now?
If I'm warmed up properly, I have been doing my yoga practice more regularly, and my wrist can support me. I don't feel quite strong enough in my wrist to do handstands right now, which I would like to be.
Yeah, I've tried push-ups many times, and I can do a half push-up where you keep your knees on the floor, but not the way that people do it.
And then for one final stretch here, you can try making a fist. You might feel it in your forearms. Little stretch. Yeah. And just sit back on those knees for a second. Maybe roll out the wrist a little bit. Get some blood flow in there for all that typing. And then we just have a couple more, a little bit more with our shoulders and spine. A little bit of abdominal warm up, and then that's it for the warm up.
Okay.
Sound good? So come back to tabletop, and first we'll just do shoulder protraction and retraction. So you'll push into the floor, let your shoulder blades come apart, and then pull your shoulder blades into retraction. Yep. And then you can keep going with that at your own pace. Just kind of restoring motion to the scapula.
Oh, this feels really good.
Awesome. And then you'll add into it. So you'll sink your belly and look up as the shoulder blades protract. And then reverse direction, round. Belly look down, push into the shoulders. Oh, I lost my flower. And keep going at your own pace. We're in Hawaii, so I gotta have a flower in my ear.
Yeah, right? I noticed that. Did you just get it from outside?
Yeah, sometimes I find them. It's a Tahitian gardenia.
Wow.
Nice. And then our very last thing is we will do an up plank. You're welcome to do it on your hands or on your elbows, whichever's more comfortable for you. And we'll just go for 30 seconds. Trying to keep our belly up to our spine, so we don't want to be too saggy here. We just kind of want to use our tummy to hold everything up. Yeah, make sure your head's with you. You don't want to hang your neck too low. Pretty good. And then maybe lower your butt just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Let's take 5 deep breaths. And lowering our knees to the floor, pushing our hips back to child's pose. These can be together, or it might be a slightly more comfortable with them apart. We'll just finish the head to the floor. Arms can be up in front, or if you prefer, you could bring them back by your hips. Your choice. After enough relaxation, wiggling your fingers and toes. And gently pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can be on your knees, crisscross applesauce, whatever's comfortable for you. And we'll finish with 3 ohms. Is that comfortable? Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the end of the warm-up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next is asanas.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That felt like a whole session in itself.
It was kind of designed to be for like this introduction.
Got it.
And when you get used to it, I mean, you could do that whole joint warm-up in probably 8 minutes. But yeah, I feel like do the easy things well and really understand them, and then when you progress forwards, you really feel like sure about it.
Absolutely.
I think especially in the West, we really like to jump into things. Go to a yoga class and like, I don't know, I noticed myself like being competitive with the person next to me, and I think I got to keep up with everyone or something. And it's nice to just start slow, and then you can go anywhere you want to go, but to feel like really confident in the strength of your joints and the flexibility of your joints, so that you don't injure yourself later.
Oh, that's so important. So after this, generally, do you do the asanas once you do the warm-up? How long does the entire session take for you in general?
If I was really being like a full practice, probably about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
Lately it's been more, I feel happy with myself if I can get in like 40-45 minutes. I can fit in kind of the minimum of everything with a warm-up, sun salutations, which are like the foundational sequence, and then at least a pose or 2 to address every like chakra energy system. That could be done in like 40-45 minutes.
Wonderful.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. I hope you benefit from this practice, and we'll tune back in with the second video for what you should do next.
Thank you so much, Ali.